Welcome to Sips and Giggles. Hi, Glenn Marshall Adams.
Yes, good afternoon, evening, morning, for whatever time of the day is you're listening to our dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome to Sips and Giggles. And how are you this week, Miss Legs?
I am absolutely fantastic, Mr. Glenn Marshall Adams. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting super excited.
Why?
Well, as you know, and you're going to have the same experience, I'm almost sure. So we're actually recording this a week early because tomorrow, this is Thursday, I'm off to Luxembourg tomorrow.
Oh.
Yes, me and my best gal, pal Gail, are off to Luxembourg to see Gossip.
Wow.
So we went a couple of years ago to see an artist, Tove Lo, and we absolutely adored the place.
Right.
And we could have went anywhere in the UK, but we decided that upon sort of looking up the cost of hotels and stuff in GB, that it was like an extra 50 or 60 quid. We could travel the whole way to Luxembourg for 4 days, and we actually started making a wee bit of a weekend break. So I'm off my hollybops tomorrow, you know.
Good for you.
I mean, I'm only back from my hollybops and I'm away again.
I know. And then this coming Sunday, I'm away again too.
You are indeed. Yes. And answers on a postcard as to where you're going.
My second home, the old GC, back in the island, Miss Tina Legs.
Are you looking forward?
I am. It's the third birthday, Monday the 9th of September. They're actually celebrating their
And you're doing a wee turn, are you?
I'm doing a wee turn.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yes, going to see all the girlies, Brandy and Heather and Dinah, Simone and the whole crew. And I can't wait. And Amy and Ray Gerard and name drop. Anyway, so here, this podcast, I want to talk. Here's what I'd love to discuss, right?
Oh.
And I know, I'm a big Christmas fan, right? Now, it's the only time I'm going to say it.
I can guarantee you. See, every time you say the word Christmas going forward, you owe us a $5.
I'll pay you. Here's my thing. Do you know the way we have New Year's resolutions? And everybody puts things off until the 1st of January. I'm going to do it. Right?
In the new year, yes.
In the new year and all that malarkey. Well, I don't believe in that.
Okay.
Right? I actually think that if there's something that you've wanted to do for a very long time, everybody has hopes, dreams, visions, and possibilities. And it's that old saying, dare to dream.
Yep.
Right. So everybody has hope that there's something that they want to achieve, be it losing weight, getting out of debt and staying out of debt, being single, or getting married, having kids, or adopting, or buying a new house or a new car. And I often think that as we move into autumn and winter, what I notice is a lot of people put that off. I'm going to wait until New Year. I'm going to wait. Make tomorrow, make today, make now your New Year's Day.
That's interesting. A couple of things you said there about, potentially having hopes. May it be for, losing weight or whatever it was. But would somebody actually hope to be single? I think that was one of them. You think?
Yeah, I definitely do, because I know, and this might sound a wee bit harsh and easy for me to say because I've been single, but that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I adore my single life. I really, really do. However,
isn't that such a dichotomy, right? In that most people look for companionship rather than the single life. Isn't that interesting? That
it is very interesting, but I would be a big advocate of saying, if you can't love yourself,
how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here?
And it's very, very true, because I remember when my last relationship broke down, I promised myself faithfully, I swore blind, I'm never doing this ever again. And that was well over 20 years ago. Now, that's fine by me. But I do believe there are some people out there who would love to experience, because they can't remember what it was like being carefree and single.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And if that is something, and even I would always say to someone, if you're lonely and you're with someone, it must be one of the worst places to be.
Well, I mean, suppose when you present it like that, yes, that would kind of make sense then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
But isn't that in the same way saying that if someone is lonely, that they're still ultimately yearning for companionship? Do you know that way? And in my sort of mind, that's
in your
kind of
mind,
where I'm going.
Yeah. You see, you and I are like, we're like silk and steel, salt and vinegar, chalk and cheese. You're happily married, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Right? I'm happily single. But there's people I know, there's people I look at, and I think, oh, honey, just do it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I get that, you know. But I know there's people out there who would often say to me, "What's it like being single?" And I'd say it's bloody marvelous. Oh, it really is, honest to Almighty God. And it's not for the fact that you want to go with Tom, Dick, Harry, Mary, Mungo, and Midge. You just want to wake up in your own bed by yourself. You want to leave things lying around and not somebody harping on, and or you picking up after someone. Just all of those things. I think a single life, moving forward, for me, I knew the minute it started, I was like, yeah, this is great. I swear, when I moved into Deer Park Road, it was perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. Yeah,
that's on tour since that's on tour since 2004.
This is it. But, you know, and I know there's people out there who dream about it.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really do, you know, and it's easier said than done. Everything is always easier said than done. But also the fact is, you know, you think, this is what I thought. I knew that I would be happier being single because number one, I got myself out of debt. Number two, I lost 12 stone and kept it off. Number three, I stopped all the foolery, foolishness, the partying, the smoking and the excess longer nights and turned into days and all that kind of stuff. And it just gave me a very clear head what I didn't want in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I think moving forward for me, I needed that clear space, but I've never ever wanted to go back to being with someone.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I mean, I think it is, but I think also, like, I think it's a lifestyle choice, really, isn't it? And I think that you get from your lifestyle what you need from your lifestyle, whereas me, I mean, as you said, we're sort of like chalk and cheese.
Yeah,
that for me, my lifestyle would be I look for, you know, the social aspect and companionship. I would be sort of looking to go out for a few, you know, cheeky drinks and
date,
you know, and
cinema.
actually doing I mean, I do love a good trip to the cinema, and I have to say it's the best date you can ever go on. You don't have to say very much.
You don't even talk to each other.
You're entertained and you don't have to speak. It's brilliant.
Exactly. He goes and gets all the popcorn. So let me ask you this question. I'm very interested now. You are so well educated. You are super smart. And that's why I call you, my nickname is for you is the Wizard. Mm-hmm. So, and 5 years ago, you took on a major challenge. What was that challenge?
Yeah, up until about 5 years ago, I was a project manager. Yeah. And I took myself back to university and done a conversion course at Queen's. So it was doing something completely different. Yeah. But it was a lifelong passion that I was wanting to fulfill.
There you go.
I ended up doing software development. I'd already been sort of like dabbling with, like, you know, doing websites and that kind of stuff, but I'd never really had the actual skills to be able to do it as a profession. And yeah, I went back, done the conversion course. It took me a couple of years to do that. And then of course lockdown happened and all the rest of it. So it was sort of, it kind of was all a bit of a, I don't know, do you know, like they say stars align?
Yeah,
do you know that way? It was kind of like, here I am in the middle of a master's and can't go anywhere, so I'm just going to throw myself into studying. Do you know that way? Otherwise, if I was to do a degree today, I'd probably be, you know, half-baked. I would be kind of like, you know, working, trying to have a social life, plus also trying to study, you know.
Here's my other question. So that was 5 years ago, and you know the way you would say to someone, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? Now, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And what do you do now as a full-time job?
So I'm a software developer.
There you go.
I'm an application developer. I work for a financial institution in Belfast, and my 9 to 5, it's the dream job. It was the job that I wish I had done when I left school.
Yeah. But this is one decision that you made 5 years ago. About you, about what you wanted.
Well, do you know, it's a very interesting thing, actually. Can I tell you, the decision just wasn't actually 5 years ago. It was probably closer to about 10 years ago.
Right.
I actually I done my education later in life. So when I left school when I was 18, I sort of went straight into the world of work. and, you know, worked in bars and sort of done all that nonsense, you know, like just to sort
Phone
of...
shops.
I was being a social butterfly, being the heart, you know, in the beating heart of the scene and all that. But that was what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I went back to uni at 25 and I'd done a bachelor's degree in business studies. And that was a 5-year course because I was doing it part-time. But I was about halfway through it, and then I realised that I didn't want to do business studies.
So I'm so intrigued. You were halfway through, say, 2.5, 3 years?
Yeah.
And what was it that made you go, I don't want to do this?
Because everybody around me, yourself included, for years had been telling me that I should be doing something in technology.
Yeah.
But in my head, as a young 25-year-old, I was thinking of the entrepreneurial lifestyle. I was thinking, how can I be a millionaire by the time I'm 40? You
Nothing wrong with that,
how
love.
can I I had all these grand ambitions in my head. But so I thought, well, the only way for me to do that is to understand business. I want to have my own business, therefore I need to go and do business studies. And I'll be honest, while I got something out of the business studies degree...
What did you get?
Well, I didn't really put much effort into it, if I'm honest. So I finished with a second class honours degree on the lower division, so it's a 2-2, which it's a pass, but it's not really great. Do you know that way? Not by my standards anyway. No offence to anybody that does have a 2-2, and I'm sure that you're doing wonderful.
Well done, the 2-2.
But you know, in my head that was the plan. But then it was 2 years into it, and I thought, why am I doing this? I was already working in a job that this degree was ultimately designed for me to achieve. So I'd already achieved that before I'd even done the degree. So in my head, I was sort of going, I realise now I've done this degree, I'm already in this job, this is a complete waste of my time. But the thing about it was the greatest decision that I made at the time was to stick at it.
Yeah.
First of all, I paid for it all myself. I didn't take out loans or anything like that whatsoever. You know, I set up a direct debit and I paid it off every single month. I was fortunate enough to be in a position that allowed me to do that. I know not everybody is fortunate enough to do that. But actually, by agreeing to see that course out, it was the best decision I ever made, because it meant that at the end of that, I had a graduate's degree. But because I done that course, it actually allowed me then to springboard into the master's and do the conversion course.
There you go.
And that conversion course only took me 3 years part-time.
Yeah.
And without my undergrad and without sticking at that, I would never be in the position to do what I wanted to do now.
Yeah.
It took me a little while to get there.
Yeah.
But I'm now pushing 40. I'm 39. I got this role 3 years ago. So let's just say I was 35 at the time when I sort of graduated.
Yeah.
And it was the age of 35, I felt like I had a career.
There you go.
It took me a while to get there.
Well, as you say, it's very interesting that we all grew up-ish together. You all grew up in front of me because I'm obviously the oldest out of most of them in the community. And your wisdom, even without education, you're so self-taught, it is unbelievable. However, it's still, for me, goes back to that point, whereas you made a decision. You wanted to better yourself. You knew you had a possibility because you believed in yourself. And what you also said was everybody else around you, including me, was telling you that you should be doing something to do with computers and software and all the wizardry that was going on. Hadn't got a clue myself. And it worked. Because people were seeing a belief in you. So the possibility of a new career, the hope of a better wage, the dream job. And look at you now, 5 years later.
That's it.
So here's another question I want to ask you. I am so getting stuck into this, folks. You have no idea, because this is probably one of the first podcasts I am navigating. Here's another one. So you've done your 5 year. Now, you know, Cher? If I could turn back home. If it doesn't matter.
Cher, bitch.
Sorry, folks. I know, Gulder, big dirty Gulder down that microphone. So listen. So that often you hear Cher say, if it doesn't matter in 5 years' time, it's not important. So there's your 5 years past. You're 39, you're going to 40, and they say life begins at 40. Right? What are your hopes, aspirations, dreams, and what do you think might be possible to, what would what would be the next 5 years? What's important to you? Where do you want to see yourself?
I mean, anybody that sort of knows me will tell you that my professional development, like my personal development, like I truly believe I'll be a lifelong learner, you know, and actually I was only recently accepted into Queen's for another master's. And it's this time it's to do with applied cybersecurity. I've been accepted. God. I'm trying to work with my employer at the moment to allow me to do the course, but that kind of just gives you an insight. You know, I still have aspirations that I wanted to do something in law.
Lovely.
I like a good argument.
You do. You do.
No, I do. I just said so, didn't I?
PC Glenn Marshall Adams, ladies and gentlemen. No, Detective Inspector. Detective Inspector Marshall Adams.
I was thinking more like lawyer.
Absolutely.
You know,
well, you know what? I could see it.
But again, that's that in my head. Like, my husband often reminds me that it's not like it is on the telly. You know, where you storm into a courtroom and
Big
say,
Vera. You're going to fly up and down the old Park Road in a wee blue Jeep with a big raincoat on you, chasing big Tina legs.
He's always saying to me, you know, we watch on the telly The Good Fight. I don't know if you've ever seen it, or The Good Wife. It was Juliana Margulies and Christine Brinsky, and
loved her.
And Gary's like, you do realise that it's not like that. I'm like, no, in my head it is, and and that's the only reason why I want to go back is so I can stand in court
and get your pivotal moment when the drama, the music, the lights go down, and everybody.
I'll be playing my own soundboard.
And you come off with that one piece of evidence that just turned up, like
Legally Blonde.
Do
you mean it was like it offsets the ammonia, the hydrochloroquine, like? What are you talking about, Chutney? Everybody that's had a perm every day for the past 20 years knows that you can't have a shower within 24 hours of having your hair permed.
In a wet t-shirt competition? Surely you should know that. Objection, Your Honor. Sustained.
I am comfortable using legal jargon in everyday conversations. I object. But listen, enough about me. What are your hopes, dreams and aspirations? So, I mean, you've been doing the same career for 30 years.
That's right.
What exists beyond, you know, for Tina? So let's say, you know, next 5 years.
5 years, I'm going to do it all over again, but I'm doing it differently.
But what does that mean exactly?
Well, basically what that means is I'm going to be stronger, fitter, prettier, smarter and happier.
Right, so unpack this for me.
Okay.
So what does stronger and fitter mean exactly?
Stronger basically means my own self-belief within me. Okay. And I'm a very strong person.
You're talking about mentally stronger?
Mentally strong,
okay.
Yeah. I am a very good 56 and I believe in prayer. The power of prayer is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and that keeps me going. As you well know, I go to chapel 3 or 4 times a week. Fitter as in taking good care of my body.
Yeah.
Because you can only go as far as you can with the fuel that you feed your body. Yeah. And if you feed yourself with kindness and hope and good food, good quality food, and surround yourself with the right people at the right time. Because I read this today and I thought, oh my God, this actually blew my mind. The greatest currency of all is time, but nobody knows what your balance is.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good proverb.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
Actually, that's funny.
The greatest currency of all is time. None of us know what our balance is.
Such a good proverb.
Thank you. So you can put that on the start. So the reason why I'm saying that is because that kind of shook me to my core. And when I thought, oh my God, that is so true. So what I want to do in the next 5 years of my life, I am going to go back, lock down, mess with my head, mess with my emotions, mess with a lot of different things for personal reasons. And now I'm better. Now I want to be stronger. I want to be fitter. I want to be healthier. I want to be happier. And I will be. Because I don't take no for an answer. So, with all of that said, do you think it's time we should take a short little break?
I think we should. We'll be right back after this.
Can I just mention, if you'd like to support our podcast, then please consider joining us on Patreon. Do you know for the cost of a drink per month, you can listen to episodes early, access exclusive digital content, and get discounts to G&T shows? Membership tiers start from free, with paid memberships starting at £3, £4 and £5.50 per month, with each tier offering increased benefits. Your support helps us keep the conversations flowing, so join us at www.patreon.com/GNT pod.
Well, thanks very much for that, Lexi. And while we're on the ask, listeners, we really need your help. We need you to go on to Apple Podcasts and leave a review for the podcast. 5-star only, please. It's a completely free app if you're on iOS. You can also get access to Apple Podcasts through your web browser if you're on Android. The reason we're asking you to do this is because leaving a review means that our podcast will likely end up in the new and noteworthy section on Apple Podcasts, which means we'll get higher visibility, more people will discover the podcast, and then we'll continue to make it for the people who want to hear it.
Perfect.
So go on, leave us a 5-star review, please.
Gives me 5-star. Rain or shine.
So welcome back. And you were just telling us before the break there, Miss Legs, about your plans for the next 5 years.
Yes.
So you talked about being mentally strong. You were talking about being fitter.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm glad that you explained it just before the break, because in my head, I was expecting you to turn and say to me, Glenn, I'm going to become a bodybuilder.
Well, met a few bodybuilders, let me tell you something, honey. But I think for me, if you keep your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations possible, it's okay to dream the impossible. You never know, it might just come true. I love my journey in my life. I love the people who are in my life, and that's what keeps me ticking along. And I do the Euro Lottery. Do you know why? Because I'm going to win it.
So you're manifesting that, right? So you're putting it out into the ether. Yeah, okay.
And I went to bed last night and I done 3 lanes on the our own lottery, and I woke up this morning to £130.
Tina, thank God you finished that with our lottery.
I did.
All I heard there was I done 3 lines on, and I was waiting for you to tell me some sort of sordid story.
And I am a true believer. I'm a true believer, as I've said many times before, in the power of prayer. It's got nothing to do with religion. Absolutely nothing to do. It's just I have a really strong faith in myself and the power of prayer. And I think the next 5 years, I really want to invest my time. I love being on stage. That's where I'm at my happiest. I love a nice pair of clicky heels and a wee short skirt and a nice big updo and big hoopy earrings. And I don't give a toss what people think of me. I never have, you know that.
Yeah.
And anybody who's listening who knows Big Tina Legs, she definitely is that. How would you describe Tina?
I think I described her before as formidable.
Formidable. I think fun-loving, fearless female.
Yeah.
A fun-loving, fearless female. And, you know, real hoochie kind of sort of mama, you know. And one of the things that I love about myself is I have, and this is my claim to my fame, Tina has always had that huge backstreet dollop of earthiness. And I don't ever think, it's very rare I meet another queen, and I do you know, comparison, Glenn, is the root of all evil.
Yeah, I remember you
I don't like comparison.
You've brought that up a couple of times.
See, if my makeup doesn't look right, I'll go out the door as happy as Larry. Couldn't give a toss. See, this is what I mean about a positive mental attitude, about having a wee hope, a dream, an aspiration. And I'll tell you one of the things I did do when I turned 40. My goal was to get out of debt. Do you see, by the time I was 50, mortgage free.
Well, that's good.
Now, your dreams and everybody else's dreams are completely different.
Of course.
But I thought to myself, okay, I've got another crack at the whip here. I'm 40 years young and I'm in really good shape. My head's in a good place. I don't smoke, I don't drink. And I had just lost my daddy.
Yeah.
Just lost my daddy to cancer. And he had passed away, and I buried him on the Saturday, and I was back on stage 2 days later. And I thought to myself, if I can do this, if I can keep on going, I'm going to be okay. And I worked so hard, and I said yes to everything, it nearly killed me. And as I got older, but what I didn't realize was that I was paying extra on other bills, and they became small. And I got so used to paying them, you see.
Yeah.
By the time I was 50, voila. And I think that in itself has lifted me. But it also kind of spoiled me a bit, because it made me think, I don't have to do this and I don't have to do that. That's fine. You know, the choices that I've made in my life, I'm very proud of them. But now that I feel, oh God, I feel 2025 is going to be probably one of the best years for us, you and I, drags to riches, drag queens. I don't know why I'm saying it. I just feel it.
But that's an intuition, isn't it? You sometimes just have, you know, you sort of get that gut feel that there's something that's going to come up.
Right in the bottom of my fake uterus.
But what does... But what really, so we talked about for like the next 5 years of Tina. So we've talked about, you know, your strength and all the rest of it. But do you see Tina being around in another 5 years?
Yeah, definitely.
And do you see her being around in Belfast?
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't be tempted to disappear to GC?
Here's my dream. When I get to 60, I will have a holiday home in Gran Canaria. And what I will do is, if I'm not working in Belfast, I'll be working in Gran Canaria. But I'll be living in Gran Canaria. And I want to do that 4 or 5 months. You know, over there, over here, over there. I love Belfast. I adore Belfast. I love the Northern Irish people. And I love the crack and the banter. And it's good to miss it.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying I'm not talking luxurious style. You know, I want to be able to have worked all my puff. I want to keep on working.
Yeah.
I know that much. And one of my biggest inspirations, God rest her soul, was Miss Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And that woman worked but right up into her 70s. And she put it out there and she gave it Dixie. And then there was just this one time she was tired. She was just tired. But I have this, my dream for the next 5 years is to work smarter, play a little bit softer, take better care of myself. And I want drag in Belfast. This is going to sound weird. I want it to be the way it used to be.
But do you think that just
controversial, me saying that, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's controversial, but do you think that because it's not forward looking, you're sort of looking back on a time that's gone?
I don't think it's gone. I think we forgot how to use it.
Okay.
I think there's a tool there that can be oiled, mothered, nurtured, and set back up again, and sprinkle it with some water and some love and some kindness and watch it grow.
Yeah.
You know, every good show didn't just start overnight.
Yeah.
Took quite a while to build. Took quite you know, and it's not just the person or the people on stage. It's the people behind the stage. It's the people behind the DJ box. It's the people who are standing on the door. It's the people serving the drinks. It's the people who are walking around, sweeping up the broken glasses and the dampness and always having a smile on their face. You know, that whole essence is a damn good show. And those shows take time, and they need nurtured, and they need hard work and discipline. So for me personally, the next 5 years of my life, I'm going to dedicate to just getting back what I want. I think I want my drag queen Tina Soul to be lit. Lit, honey. I need to ask you a question. Dun, dun, dun. I know you love your cruises and your holidays and going away and stuff. Where's the one place you haven't been you would love to go, you and Gary?
The one place that I am really like bucket list. Well, actually, I'll give you two because it's kind of hard to choose. The first one would be Alaska.
Oh, that's really strange.
I don't know, can't tell you why. I just really like the idea of going. We've had friends who have went and, you know, they had the best time. So that would be the first thing. The second place would be Japan.
Oh, yes.
We were supposed to do that as our honeymoon, and that didn't happen because of COVID. And unfortunately now, since the cruises have now started to happen again out towards the Far East, they're always during term time, which, you know, my husband is a teacher, so we can only go when the schools are off, basically. Yeah. And it just happens to be the most expensive time of the year to travel as well.
Right, okay.
So anytime that we saw, and don't get me wrong, we've had opportunities to be able to do either of those. Yeah. But it's like it's just, we have this thing where we look at a holiday and we look how much it's going to cost. And then once we've got this idea in our head, we go, right, where else could we go for the same? And then we always end up sort of doing something different. Because,
yeah, I know what you mean.
But, you know, I suppose in some regards it's taken for granted that it's always going to be there and we'll do it one day. What about you? Is there anywhere, I think you mentioned before you would love to go to likes of Thailand or something like that?
Yes.
So what about you? Is there anywhere that you
Oh, that's
like
my
to
dream.
go?
I want to go and live in Thailand for 4 to 6 weeks, and I want to look after all the elephants.
That's right, you did say that.
Elephants. I want to nurse them, and I want to get to know them, and I want to bathe them, and I want to make them better. That, you know, right. 2 things in life that really get my wick. See people who go abroad and they're on the backs of wee baby elephants and camels and things like that. But like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get off.
It's funny actually, Santorini, which is built on the top of a rim of an old extinct volcano.
Right.
And the only way to get up, well, there's 2 ways. One way is to get a cable car and it's limited numbers, or
Right.
you have to take something like 1,000 steps the whole way up. But at the very bottom of those, in the summer, they have donkeys.
Oh no.
Now, the cruise lines do a lot of sort of, you know, educating of the people on the boats to say, do not accept a lift for the donkeys. But yeah, it is a little bit sort of...
It's horrible.
But I mean, it's tradition, right? It's like, this is the thing. It's always been that way. And,
Well,
I'm not
it's
saying
time to
that I'm
stop.
not saying that it's right, but I'm just saying that for locals,
Yeah.
that's sort of generational. That's something that's been passed down from family to family to family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have to look at it through that lens. This isn't something that somebody's just woken up in 2024 and went, let's do this. It's kind of always been there.
So another dream of mine is to become the ruler of the world, and then yes, what's wrong with that? I would be the ruler of the world, and then I would be able to put my foot down, and I would stop all animal cruelty whatsoever, and people who have dogs in their gardens.
Yes, you brought that up before.
Yeah, I did, because it really it's me right off. So it does. It really gets on my. I just don't like it, but that's my dream. That's my holiday. My dream holiday is to go to Thailand and live and work for 4 to 6 weeks and then come home and feel like I've achieved that, you know. It's going back to that, having new hopes, dreams, visions, and the possibilities of, I think it's an improvement in your life when you plan to do something. It's like when someone says, see that car, I want to buy that car. And they save and they save and they get their car, or a holiday, or a new home, or it's someone who joins a gym and wants to lose 5 stone and they lose 6. I just think having that possibility, everybody has that possibility, but it's putting it to the test and making yourself feel better about you, your mental clarity and how you feel about life, and how it's going to steer you onto the next better step, that next level up, you know. So as you say, the next 5 years of your life, are you going to go back to university?
Well, I'd like to think so. As I said already,
Yeah, you did.
Providing that my employer can support me with the time off.
So this next episode in your life of more education and going back to university, how long is this course?
Well, this course is only 2 years.
2 years. What is it again?
Applied cybersecurity.
Right. Wow.
I mean, and it's kind of a lucrative market, and I'm assuming that, I mean, it's fully, I don't have to pay for it. It's fully sponsored by the department.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's completely free. I'm assuming it's because there's a skills shortage in Northern Ireland at the moment within this particular area.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a good thing for me, really, because when there's a skills shortage, then it's kind of, you know,
works in your favour.
100%, because I have the skills that people need, and when that happens, they tend to pay a little bit more. So
they pay a hell of a lot more. You see, this is what I'm talking about. You know, this, when you get that, you need that qualification, to this label to say, I have this.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have the possibility of saying, how much am I going to charge? You want to could feel a song coming on. You want fame? Well, fame costs, right? Yes, we use that paying in sweat. So therefore, you're excited about the next 2 years of your life. You're discussing things with your employers at the moment about getting the time and all of. So you're already planning the next 2 years, and I've discussed the next 5 years. You know, and I guess in your mind, and this is your wee button. You know, do you know what I mean when I talk about DJ Mushroom?
Push the button.
I would say push the button. We all have a button.
But listen, So if there was a role that you could do, so I know that you worked in the fracture clinic before. You sort of discovered Tina, and I know that Tina is your life. But was there any sort of dream job that you had other than drag?
No.
I find that. Do you not find that kind of fascinating?
It fascinated me because when I was very happy working in the hospital. I really was. I loved the job. I loved the staff, but what was really, really demanding, I was doing 14 to 16 day stretches. I was working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, and then I was going out and doing drag. But I pushed myself so hard.
Yeah.
Then I won the alternative Miss Ireland, and when I went back to work, it was either that, stay or go.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought, I'm 26, 27. What am I going to do in my life?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to try drag, and I had no idea by taking a year out that it was going to work.
Yeah.
But I made it work.
But did you have like some sort of trepidation or anxiety around I'm about to give up? Because like, you've got a stable job within the trust, and you're just about to walk
Pension
away from
paid.
that to essentially be a sole trader, shall we say?
Yep.
And not really sure where the next gig is going to come from.
Exactly.
See, that petrifies me.
It didn't scare me at all.
Absolutely petrifies me.
Didn't scare me at all. And I know that I may come across when I'm saying these things about having dreams and hopes and aspirations, but everybody has possibilities. Everybody has hope. And if you believe in that hope, not for 1 second, when I handed in, can I have a year out? I gave myself the opportunity of taking 12 months and trying to make it work. And if it didn't work, I could have went back.
Well, that's good. So you've got that kind of blanket. Could you have went back at any point within that 12 months?
Absolutely.
Well, you see, that sort of makes me feel a little bit better about your situation that happened 20, 30 years ago. But the idea of not having, especially because you have a mortgage, you've got responsibilities and bills, and if that doesn't work, like, where do you go from there?
Well, it was either sink or swim.
Yeah.
It really was. And what I found was, in the first 3 months, I pushed and I worked and I pushed and I worked and I pushed and I worked. And after 3 months, I knew then I was never going back to the Royal. I was never going back to the NHS, because I knew what I was doing that I loved so much. I love the free time of waking up in the mornings and not having to get a uniform on, and and then going to work. And I was so tired. I had more time for my mind and planning and becoming more creative and stuff like that. So taking that year out wasn't scary at all, and never once did I even doubt myself. Isn't that weird? And I didn't have a job to go to.
Yeah.
I just thought, right, okay, I need to free myself up here, and off I went. Today it's so much easier because there's so much out there.
Yeah.
And I applaud the queens who work 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row, and then they work to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, and then they're home, and then they're shaved, and then they're showered, and then they're shaking their chamois, working their asses off to 3 and 4 in the morning, and then they're up the next day at 6 o'clock getting ready and going off and doing their day job. I applaud every single one of you for doing that. That's how I started. And if you really, really want something in life, it's like you want to do this cybersecurity, you'll get it. You will. You're not going to take no for an answer, are you?
Well, I'll try not to. But so I know I also respect my employer, and I'm asking for time off, so they don't have to give it to me. But
here's the difference: you're not going to take no for an answer. No, you're not. Well, there you go. So you're going to get it. So if you tell yourself, even if your employer says to you, "Sorry, Glenn, there's nothing we can do here," you'll go, well, I'm away. No, I'm not saying that at all. But this is what I mean about a positive mental attitude, and I guess as Tina, fun-loving, fearless female. Everything will be all right. And in 5 years' time, you look back and you go, you know what? So glad I tried that. Because look where I am if I hadn't have. And also to younger people out there, and I understand that today's society is way much different than mine was. It really was. That internet is a demon. And can be, and it's full of loopholes and negatives and danger and, but it's like everything else, if you only use it when you need it and use it properly, if you're kind to it, I think it'll be kind to you. Here's another question I want to ask you. If you weren't a software developer, what else would you love to be? what would your other job be? What would you like to be doing if you weren't like?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, I think law. I think law, a solicitor or something like that.
A judge?
I don't know about it. I'm a judgy bastard, to be fair. Like, I don't know about it being a judge, but I definitely think something in law would be right up my street.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's like everything, I've only just, by standards, I've only just graduated. I graduated in 2021.
Yeah.
And, to be a software developer and to be good at it, I think you need to be realistic.
Yeah.
And, I've sort of set my sights for, 10 years of this career.
Okay.
To really get to grips with what software development is. And I think part of the challenge is that it moves so fast that it is constantly evolving. You're constantly learning. You're having to constantly retrain on new technologies and things.
Mm-hmm.
So
you love that.
And I do. And it's, so like, I know your question was about what else would I be doing? I would probably just say never say never.
Good.
Do you know that way? That's why I would come back to the point. I think I would be a lifelong learner.
Tina's tips.
When you focus your mindset, what's meant for you will happen in the most unexpected ways.
Tina's tips.
So this is the part of the show where we talk about all of the things that inspire us. It can be a person, a place, a thing. It's just something that's sort of on the tip of our tongues this week. We want to share with you. So, Miss Legs, over to you. Who is or what is your iconic tonic this week?
The king of rock and roll.
Oh?
Elvis Aaron Presley.
Wait, hold the phone 1 second.
I knew you were going to say this.
Hold the phone.
I know why.
Out of all of the iconic tonics, this is the week where we get a strong male character, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, theys, gays, dears, queers.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. So the king of rock and roll, and he was regarded as one of the most significant cultural figures of the 20th century. And he was Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. And, album, singles, film, television, was married to the beautiful Priscilla Presley, and had one daughter called Lisa Marie Presley. So, and his musical career was, his genres were rock and roll, pop, rockabilly, country, gospel, R&B, and even blues. And do you know he actually played 3 instruments?
I did not know that.
Guitar, piano, and vocals.
Interesting.
Yes. And he was actually in the military. He was in the United States Army, and he served from 1958 to 1960. Do you know what rank he was?
I do not.
Sergeant.
Oh?
Sergeant Elvis Aaron Presley, ladies and gentlemen. He's my iconic tonic. I love you, Elvis. We love you.
So my iconic tonic this week is not affiliated to the podcast in any way.
Okay.
But I do feel that I need to share. My iconic tonic this week is the British Airways American Express Premium Plus card.
Oh.
So for anybody
have one.
So if anybody that knows me knows that I might have 1 or 4 of these. And the reason I have them is because you can collect air miles on everyday purchases.
Right.
Now, you know that I do like to go on a holiday. So essentially, if you buy your holidays on your Amex, now you have to bear in mind they're not credit cards, they're charge cards. You got to treat them like a debit card, so you only spend on them what you can afford.
Yeah.
Don't actually run a balance because the APR is ridiculously, it's astronomical. It's ridiculous. But if you pay it off before it's due, then you don't accrue any interest. But the good news is that for every £1 that you spend, you earn 1 air mile. That means you can use the BA online store, and you can get like 6 air miles for every £1 that you spend.
Right.
Anyway, the long and the short of it is this. Having this card has revolutionized our life.
Wow.
Pretty much. So we're away on holiday next year, and we've got business class flights from New York back to Belfast for both of us for £375.
What?
Plus 80,000 air miles. So, for spending in Tesco every day, for, you know, buying coffee, all those kind of small purchases, they mount up. Then what you can do is you can clump your account into like a household account, so you can pool all your air miles. And essentially that means you can share them. Anyway, that's my iconic tonic for the week. And by the way, listeners, if anybody needs a referral code for British Airways, American Express, let me know and I'll send you a referral link. Thank you.
Me. I'd like to send me a wee link, honestly. I really, really would.
Sip and share.
So last week, Miss Legs, we did ask.
We did
ask our listeners to come up with some ideas as to what we would call your fan base.
Like Taylor Swift Swifties, Lady Gaga's Monsters.
Exactly. So some of our listeners have kindly given us some.
Okay.
This list isn't exhaustive, so if you still haven't wrote in and you want to do it, then, you know, get in contact. All the information's in the description of the episode. Here we go. Tina's fan base names: The Tantrics.
Love it.
Baker's Dozen.
13.
This one, Teenians. The Lady Loves. Leg Lovers. Tina's Tornadoes. This was my one, by the way. The Leg Warmers. Tina's Trumpets.
Blow.
Wee Legs. The TLTs. Tantets. Or the Tantramettes.
Oh, I love them all.
So if you want to post a suggestion, then, you know, drop us a line. We'd like to hear if you can come up with something better.
I'd like to hear some more. I like the Teenians. I really do.
That came in from Pure Bent.
I'm sure it did.
Okay, so on to this week's Sip and Share.
Lovely.
So this question has come in from Justin on Instagram.
Okay.
And he asks, has Glenn ever done drag? LOL. Curious to know. Well, Justin, first of all, you're a bit late to the party because we did address this, I think, in episode 1 of the podcast, that I have a drag name. My drag name is Shushu Lace, formerly Shushu Lafoot. Yes, I did drag, I think, 3 times. It was back in the old Cube days.
That's right.
Took inspiration from the one and only Tina Legs Tantrum. Do you remember the time that I came into your show in drag?
I remember.
Do you remember really how bad my makeup was? That you had to basically take me by the hand, march me up the stairs, scrub my face and put my makeup on properly.
I did. It was no better.
So thank you for that, Justin. There's another question here from Veronica. She wants to know, what's your opinion, Tina, on how much you should give in a card for a wedding gift? Now, this is pretty controversial, I have to say.
That is quite controversial because I'm going to a wedding next year in Gretna Green.
Oh,
lovely. And asked what would you like for a wedding present, and they said money.
It's such a modern thing now, though, isn't it? And to be honest, it makes sense. Rather than going to register at like a House of Fraser or whatever,
absolutely,
just give people the money and let them spend
cash.
it.
We drop a cash.
So how much would you give?
A tenner.
She's a cheap bitch.
Oh, absolutely. Cheap bitch. Yeah. Oh, a wee tenner. No, I would not. I would, you know, obviously with the cost of living crisis and all that's going on, and things are going up again in October. No, I would be particularly, it depends who they are. If I was going to invite it to a wedding and I was like third party guest, didn't really know them, and everybody going was just, you know, they just want money. If I didn't really know them that well, it'd be about £30-40. But if I did know them, I would say between 50 and 100.
Okay, that's fair.
Is fair enough. You know what I mean?
So the way that we typically look at it, so no one, because I know the cost of a wedding.
Yeah.
You know, seeing I'm married and all that. The way I look at it is it depends on whether you've been invited to the full day or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because that will have meant that somebody has had to pay for a meal for you.
Yeah.
So typically what we would try to do is ensure that we cover the cost of the meal plus a sum on top of that. So mine would probably be somewhere in between 100 and 150.
Wow.
Because
I'm going to get married.
Just because, first of all, we tend to get invited to weddings that are like at the Galgorm, and we know that like per head it's like 90 quid a head just for the meal. So yeah, we would sometimes, well, not sometimes, anytime we ever got invited to a wedding, we would sort of go for that kind of
Yeah.
range.
Well, I get that and I understand that, but what also, we're living in uncertain times now financially, and going to a wedding, booking a wedding, having a wedding is super, super expensive.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Super, super
Tina,
expensive.
do you know that, say as soon as you mention wedding in anything, it's like the price goes up by 500%.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
absolutely.
bonkers. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's the things that you're being charged for now.
Yeah.
Like a venue will charge you for seat covers. They'll charge you for a particular
Absolutely
type
everything.
of chair. They'll charge you for, certain linens on your table.
Yeah.
Like everything has a cost now.
Well, we're having to pay for flights and we're having to pay for hotel room, and that's okay because the wedding with everything in, we're going from Thursday to Sunday, and it's costing the couple $6,000.
Well, that's really reasonable.
$6,000.
Really reasonable.
And this includes DJ.
Is it an anvil wedding? Is it at Gretna Green?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it includes the ceremony,
Yeah.
the hall, the DJ, the dance floor, and your meal, 3 course.
Lovely.
And then at night time you have bacon, bap and chips.
Oh, lovely.
And we're going to stay and we're going to make like a long weekend out of it. So, and that's for the couple, £6,000 all in.
I think that's very reasonable.
That's everything. And there's 2 hotels now that you can choose from in Gretna Green. And when I was looking at the prices, and it worked out from the Thursday to the Sunday, £294 for a double room.
Well, that's not too bad.
And for the flights return from Belfast International, it was with a 23 kg with EasyJet, £174.
Where are you flying to?
Glasgow.
So you need to get the train down, or you need to get the bus.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Nearly every one of us who are going to the wedding, there's 40 going. We're going to hire a bus.
Would just not just be safer hiring a bus from Belfast and just taking it on the boat?
No, it couldn't be annoying.
You get to drink the entire time. Well, you're not a drinker. Never mind.
Well, I'm not a drinker. But you
Priorities.
see, well, I mean, I'd rather get on a plane and fly there and be there within 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're going to hire a bus to pick us up from the airport and then drive us down to Gretna Green.
Lovely.
So, there's ways and means, and because I know the couple very well, it's Crystal Dorothy Starr.
Okay.
And Riley, his lovely fiance. So it depends, as I say earlier on. Your question was how much would you give? It's entirely up to you. See, whatever you can afford, you can afford.
Yeah.
See, if it is only a tenner and it's all you can afford, give a tenner because you give it with love.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there as well. It's like if you're having to fork out for flights and a hotel and all of that, then that does change things slightly, you know. And I think I would sort of be in that mindset as well, having had to fork out for that. But look, that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much to Justin and to Veronica for your message.
Thank you for your questions. And can I just say to everybody globally who's been supporting our lovely wee podcast ever since we started, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And if there's anything we haven't discussed and you'd like us to have a chat about it, or if there's anything you want us to talk about or touch on, or ask us any questions. So don't be afraid to get in touch with us, because all the information will be in the description of this podcast. And just send us a message. Let us know. If there's something you want to discuss, let us know. And if we find it interesting, we'll talk about it. And if we don't, we'll just make it about me and Glenn. Only joking. So are you eventually going to tell us and put us out of our misery? Because everybody wants to know the question of the year. Who is your drag queen crush?
Oh, do you know that people have not stopped hounding me about this?
I know.
And I said that I needed to be very, very careful. Because as I've mentioned already, I do work on the scene with a lot of people. And I suppose a lot of people have been asking me if it's such and such, is it this, is it that? And I don't want to upset or hurt anybody's feelings. Okay.
Who is it?
So my drag queen crush, it's... Thanks for tuning in to this episode of G&T Sips and Giggles. If you've enjoyed our conversation, then don't forget to share it with your friends, and why not subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Your reviews mean the world to us and really help others find the show, so please take a moment to leave one, but be kind. If you'd like to support the podcast, why not consider joining us on Patreon? For the cost of a drink a month, you can listen to episodes early access exclusive digital content, and get discounts to upcoming G&T shows. Your support helps us keep the conversation flowing. Cheers, we'll see you next time. Chin chin.